Hi everyone, I'm Commissioner Zoe, your Police, Fire and Crime Commissioner for North Yorkshire and York, and this is
Jonathan Dyson. I'm the Chief Fire Officer of North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service, and we're taking the opportunity today, Zoe and I, to try and do some myth busting around our risk and resource model.
So I'm going to ask the questions and Jonathan is going to do the answering. So Jonathan, can you tell me what the risk and resource model is that we're out on consultation for?
Our risk and resource model is a model which looks at the risk and the vulnerability within the county. And our latest version of this is the most comprehensive one we've ever run. It looks at all the community aspects, it looks at partnership data to tell us where the risk and vulnerability is, and then we overlay our appliances and our resources and equipment to see if we have the right response with the right people at the right time for the risk and vulnerability in the county.
I've been asked a lot about, is this a cost-saving exercise? What would your reply be to that?
Categorically no. The efficiencies that we're hoping to achieve will be reinvested directly back into the service. We're looking to improve and make the conditions better for our on-call firefighters within terms and conditions, and we're looking to provide reinvestment into our prevention and protection, which is also targeted then at the vulnerable and the risk within our communities.
If a resident rang 999 and needed a fire engine, and how do you decide which fire engine went to it and where from?
Okay. When our control staff take the fire call, they then start putting the details into our computer system. The computer then knows where every vehicle is within the county, and the system will then choose the appropriate resource to mobilise to the nearest appliance to that incident.
Jonathan, I've been asked a lot about, with these proposals and the consultation, if a fire engine got called out and there wasn't a fire engine to replace it, where would they come from? Where would that resource come from to cover that area?
We have 38 stations around the county. So even if you live near to a fire station, it doesn't mean that when you dial, or if you dialed 999, that would be the appliance that was attending. We have firefighters and the crews constantly moving around the county doing community safety work. And if there was a large incident in one area of the county, the appliances would go to that incident. Behind that, control constantly monitor and move appliances to make sure that we continue to cover the areas of highest risk and vulnerability. So the public will always be assured of a response within their area via the mobilising system.
So that's really interesting, Jonathan, because that's actually happening now anyway, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It is a continuous assessment that the control staff continuously do. And it's a national model where each county, each officer will continue to move those appliances to cover their areas of highest risk.
We know that the Fire and Rescue Service isn't all about responding to fires, is it, Jonathan? So could you give us a bit of an idea what other things you get called out to, and what other services you have? Certainly.
Our primary concern within communities is around prevention and protection. So this is about making people safe so the incidents don't happen within the first place. Now, prevention work, this is where we're working with the community, with children, with schools, with vulnerability to try and reduce that in all circumstances. Protection relates to the built environment. So these are the businesses that we're working with to make sure businesses are safe, and of course the people that work within those businesses also. There is another aspect other than response, and that is resilience. Now, resilience for us relates to community resilience, and this is a key factor that we're looking to build to make our community safer, with fire being a key partner within local authorities and partner agencies to deliver that safety.
There's been a lot of concern out there within the public and the residents about whether or not any firefighters are going to lose their jobs because of these proposals.
Categorically, no current firefighters are losing their jobs. This for us is about realigning our resources and moving the resources we currently have from operations into prevention and protection, because that is our primary focus on the community safety.
Turning our attention now to Huntington in York. So there's a lot of myths out there about what's happening at Huntington, and I think this is a really good opportunity to really thoroughly explain what's happening there. So can you tell me, from the proposals, what will the service be?
The service are proposing to change the current position, which is that we have a whole time, which is an appliance which is staffed 24 hours a day, and it then has an on-call station which uses local firefighters that have other employment. The proposal is to remove the whole time appliance, but still remain and invest in the on-call appliances and its staff at that station. From our analysis, we're confident that the on-call appliance there still provides primary fire cover of an adequate resource within the Huntington area.
Thank you. And another question that we've been asked about, is Huntington Fire Station closing?
No, it isn't. And the station itself will then house the on-call firefighters with potential for repurpose and use by the service itself.
With these proposals, the public have had some concerns about response times. Can you expand a bit on that, please?
The service has put into the consultation documents that there will be an additional response time from Huntington Station with the proposed changes. So when the whole time appliance is removed, the on-call appliance will have an additional response time because that includes the time that the on-call firefighters have to travel to the station. Now we've analysed 5 years worth of data to make sure that we understand that model. And the additional time represents if the whole time appliance was attending and the on-call appliance went to the same incident, the additional time is for the on-call because they will be the primary response in that area. We're confident from the data and the evidence that we've looked at, this still provides a proportionate response to the risk within the Huntington area.
Jonathan, can you tell me what the proposals are for Harrogate, please?
The proposals in the Harrogate area is to change the second appliance, which is a tactical response vehicle, into a fire appliance which can attend a full range and category of incidents. The second proposal there is to crew that second appliance through our peak hours of demand.
I think there's concern about when a fire engine on a night is out on a job, on a call out.
Yes.
How's that community covered for fire cover?
Okay, the service is going to continue doing what it's doing now, and that is to make sure that if all appliances or appliances in any area move to an incident in another area, the service or our control staff then move appliances from surrounding areas into the areas of highest risk and vulnerability. It's a model that we've had for many years and it has worked nationally and will continue doing that.
So it's already happening anyway for us, so there's no change there? No. Jonathan, can you tell me what the proposals are for Scarborough, please?
I can. The proposals in Scarborough are to have 2 fire appliances which are available to attend all categories of incidents, which is the removal of the second appliance, which is currently a tactical response vehicle. Removing that second tactical response vehicle and replacing it with a fire engine allows us then to attend the full range of incidents, and we would like to crew that appliance through our hours of peak demand during the day.
On a night time, if that fire engine has been called out, how will we get cover for that community then?
The service will continue doing what it's doing now, and that is to move resources around, and our control staff constantly monitor this. So if appliances attend an incident in their area or another area, control staff will move appliances into the areas of highest risk. So there will always be a proportionate response and always have fire cover.
So basically we're just carrying on doing what we're doing now, so there's no change?
It isn't, and it's a national model that all the services utilise, yes.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
These proposals will realise efficiencies of about 1.5 million in 2025. So can you tell me where that's going to be spent then?
Absolutely. It's being spent on reinvestment back into the service. There are 2 key areas we're looking to make that investment into. One is the on-call model, and that's to make it more attractive and sustainable for the service in our remote and rural areas, and then into prevention and protection, so that we are having that primary response into risk and vulnerability within our communities.
This is a really good question from residents across the county who are concerned that we haven't taken into account all the building and the housing that's going on across the county. So have we? We
have. The risk and resource model looks at the current and future potential risks in the county, and this includes live data provided by local authorities to us on the current build infrastructure and future. And the evidence that we've drawn down from the risk and resource model says that we are now and in the future able to provide a proportionate response to that risk in the Huntington area.
So we've talked about Huntington Fire Station not closing.
Yes.
I think it's important to ask the question, are any fire stations closing across the county?
No, this risk and resource model is about realising efficiencies to reinvest back into the service. No stations are going to close under this risk and resource model.
That's great. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thank you.
A really good question I've been asked is, how are we actually consulting with the staff of the fire service?
Okay, extensively is what we're aiming to do. The senior leadership team have already been out and visited every station and watch which are affected by any of the proposals. There is the opportunity to provide online feedback onto your consultation forum, and our managers and the senior leadership team will continue to go out to all of the stations on a rolling basis to make sure our staff and their voices are heard throughout this period.
And I think it's really important to say that I've actually been out to Huntington, and I'm going to carry on going out to the fire stations. So firefighters have that direct contact with me, so I can sit and listen to their concerns or their approvals of what we're proposing too. Yes. Jonathan, thank you so much. There's been some great answers to some really fantastic questions out there from the public, which really clears up a few myths, doesn't it, I feel?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think so. So really, I really hope that that's answered your questions. Keep them coming, and please engage with the consultation on tellcommissionerzoe.co.uk. Thanks for listening.